Is possible to rewrite the story, to feel like you're that brand new, authentic young person that you came in as. Those feelings, that authenticity, just knowing your own passions and what you love, that's still there for you. It may be underneath a lot of feeling and a lot of emotion, but I just want to say there is a way. There's a way to get to it. And a lot of times we try to come at it in different ways, but at the end of the day, you've got to get to the energy of it.
Welcome to Connecting the Dots. I'm your host, Jessica Carisse, and this space is a place where we talk about seemingly random topics, but in all actuality, they're connected together. And we have a returning guest. We have Loa Blasucci. She is a energy medicine practitioner, an etheric clairvoyant. She's also a best-selling author. And today we are going to talk about energetic responsibility. Loa, I'm so happy to have you back on. And I'm so happy to really dive deep into a topic such as this, because it's literally something that I've been praying to God about all month, because there's so much I want to do, but it all comes down to your energy to do it. So let's get into the topic.
Nice to be on Connecting the Dots again. It's great to see you. You look great.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. So Loa, what does energetic responsibility mean to you?
As an energy medicine practitioner, and they call me the reverse aging alchemist, I work with the aging process, and I work with people who have anxiety. I work with people who are trying to clear and manage their emotion. So energy and emotion are very connected. They are intimately intertwined. So a person who is energetically responsible, they're able to manage their emotion. They're not reactive. They don't freak out. They're able to contain. That's like one of my favorite words, just contain their energy. They can feel it flow through them, and they remain balanced in uncomfortable, chaotic situations.
Mm-hmm. So if someone was to challenge that, because I feel like there's so much information that you could be that way through your mindset. Mm-hmm. So like, how would you counter that type of claim? Like, oh no, that's mindset discipline versus energetic responsibility.
Let me jump all over that. I will stand on this hill and shout for as long as I get the chance. You cannot think your way to energy balance. You cannot. Your brain is housed by one of your energy centers. Your sixth chakra is here. Your brain is the way you think. We know that we think. It's epistemology. We know that we have thoughts. Animals don't do that. We as humans know that we think. Your brain houses your thought forms, your ideas, your judgments, your opinions, all of those things. But your body is housing how you feel. If you're having feelings about something, you can think about that all you want. Your thoughts may help you kind of get to a better way to feel, but it's not until you work with the energy center that is governing that emotion. Then you are truly free. You are energetically balanced. And it is so powerful. But it's not easy. And I know there's a lot of ways to say, yeah, but I am telling you, if it were easy, the world would be a different place. We would have no war. We would have no issues. We would all be wonderfully happy. It takes a very strong psyche. It takes a strong mind to be able to do that.
So I guess what type of, like when we say energy, right? I think people have like different imagery that comes to mind when they say energy. Like, oh, I don't have the energy to go for a walk today. Or, oh, I don't have the energy to deal with this. And
No, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Over time, we have come to use the word energy in various contexts. for example, the energy of the body at a cellular level, how much each little cellular battery can put out to run you through your day, and the demands on the body. If you're eating well, if you're sleeping well, all of those things, if you jog for an hour that day or didn't, all of those things require a certain level of energy for your body to achieve that. The true energetic resonance that you are, it's the part of you that we can't see. It's what exists outside your body in your biofield. And we know it's there. There is so much science to it. It's just beyond, it's kind of beyond me that some people still have the I can't see it, so I can't believe it mentality when it comes to what you are. But when you embrace the fact that you are made of energy, that's what you are made of, down to every last little quark and wave, and that's what you're made of. It's the way you manage that and how that moves through your physical body. That's your energetic resonance. That's not the amount of energy that you have to get through your day, but it absolutely will drive that. It absolutely drives that. When your energy is imbalanced, this is why people who have balanced energy age so well. They look young for their age. It's because they have energy available to heal them. It's healing energy, and it's moving through this central channel. It can move through, it can get to where it needs to. You've got stem cell production happening, and your body knows how to handle that. So it's how we apply the word, but what you are made of is energy.
Would you say your energetic resonance influences how much capacity your body can handle? Like, meaning, does your energetic resonance affect those thought processes like, oh, I'm too tired to do this, or oh, like I can't, it's hard to get through my day type of thing?
The energy that flows through you it's the truth. It doesn't lie. It cannot lie. It is what it is. If there is a blockage within one of your chakras, heart chakra, throat chakra, they exist 7 majors up and down the spine. If there is a blockage in one of those, energy is not moving through that channel. So there could be an emotion that is stuck there. There could be a feeling, or it could be something from a person's history. So you can try to talk yourself into things, and it can have a certain amount of outcome, but until you've moved that into the true nature of the energy of who you are and how every emotion you've ever felt is held in this field, you're not truly managing it with the most ease. And that's kind of what we're talking about, energetic responsibility. When you take responsibility for this, that means that you no longer have you're no longer sucking up all the energy of the room and feeling everything that everybody else feels. No good comes from that. It may be to be an empath may be a spiritual skill. There's a little bit of a skill there, but it's gonna cause burnout and cause you to break down and be so overly emotional and have anxiety and have gut issues and all kinds of repeating thoughts and things. Or you're gonna claim that and allow for yourself to grow emotionally, to process your own feelings. That's when you are contained. You contain your own energy, and that you're more compassionate rather than empathic. Compassion is where there's power. There's power. You're able to help. You're able to see what's going on. But empathy, you can get burned down to the ground. And I see it all the time. I see this all the time.
I love that you said that. I love that so much, because the last time we chatted on here, I mentioned I was a recovering empath. And the symptoms I used
How
to
are you
have
doing
before
now?
was a lot of, I'm compassionate. I'm
Awesome.
compassionate. And it's funny because on my journey of being a recovering empath, I would recognize I could feel people's emotions sipping into my body, and I could feel it like in my stomach, like I could feel what they were feeling. And with focusing on myself, becoming more self-aware, meditating, praying, all that stuff, I was able to release like a lot of my own blockages. I had anger I needed to deal with, some guilt I needed to deal with, and releasing all of that, some pride I needed to deal with. And I found myself becoming more loving, and I found myself becoming more compassionate, where now I feel like I exude out energy versus feeling everyone's emotions come into me.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing. When you manage your major energy centers, each one is governing a certain part of you. So, for example, your fifth chakra, base of the throat, it governs your voice, your expression, your shoulders, the upper cervical spine. It governs this part of the body. So, if someone, let's just say, for example, random example, a child grows up in a home where they're told to shut up all the time. You are told that they're stupid, or they're treated like they don't matter. They're whatever they think or say doesn't matter. That person can grow up withholding their expression, what they really wanted to say. But they've held it in for so long that now this energy center, which flows in like a spiral, God's thumbprint is spirals. Look through nature at what spiral, pretty much everything has a spiral at the very base of it. So this energy, sometimes it'll just stop or get stuck, or there'll be a blockage there. And that can affect everything, because if you think about it, your brain is here. This has got to flow head to body. It's got to come right through this energy center. If there's a blockage here, absolutely, there are going to be situations. And what it most normally is thyroid stuff, because this governs that part of your endocrine function. So I work with that a lot. Women who have just kind of felt like they can't speak, they can't say what they want to say. And once they do, it's just beautiful things happen. Conversely, if this chakra has been mismanaged or blown open, that's someone who speaks nonstop. They overspeak, they overshare, they talk fast, they talk loud, they talk right on top of, they can't be in a normal conversation. That's someone who also has a mismanaged fifth chakra. So it's within each one of your energy centers, and the part of you that it governs, and the emotion that's connected to that part of you. And that's how you bring yourself back to balance. And the beautiful thing is, and I love this topic today, energetic responsibility, because you could also say emotional responsibility. And that's basically freedom. You then are free. You don't feel pressure. You feel like your authentic self, which is the highest vibration of all vibration on the scale. You think, well, wouldn't that be love? Wouldn't that be gratitude? Authenticity is at the very top. That's the highest frequency that you can, as a human, exude, is to be your true self. And so many of us, with what we're taught to think and made to think and made, shown how to act as little kids, time goes on, and then you're like, what do I love? What is my passion? What is my purpose?
Yeah. Like 100%. I completely understand what you're talking about, because I experienced it. Literally experienced it.
I love when I'm talking to people who know, because they get it. It's not this ethereal thing that's like out there and like, it's like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
No,
Check
I experienced it. Yeah, literally experienced it. Like, last year when I made the decision, like, I'm going to focus on myself and I'm not going through these cycles anymore that I've been going through in my life. I did go through that season where I'm like, what is my purpose? Why am I here? I feel lost. And then I had to go back to the time where I was a kid, and it was before people criticized me about anything. and revisit that version of Jessica and then nurture it. And in that nurturing journey, there was a lot of letting go, a lot of recontextualizing things that happened in the past. And I had forgotten a lot of the good things that took place in my life. And those memories started to come back when I started nurturing the little seed of Jessica that was just so tucked away, so buried so deep. My good memories started coming back. And then that was so empowering because I'm like, oh, wait, I did do that. Oh, wait, I did that too. Oh, wait.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that.
That is how I am, And then with releasing a lot of the negative emotions and negative memories, recontextualizing things. Then my husband, he owns a music school, and he happened to need me to fill in a slot for one of the teachers, like for a student. So I started taking singing lessons. And because I was so criticized so much growing up, and plus the impact of being raised in a Pentecostal church, my voice was silent. I didn't speak much,
Yeah.
And
singing lessons can take a fifth chakra blockage right to the brink.
Literally, that's what happened, Lola. That's what happened,
I'm glad you had that experience. It's really, that's really, I'm just endeared by that. It can be terrifying too, to a person with the fifth chakra. It's it's terrifying. And the thing is, you were just saying just a moment ago about how we get back to parts of ourselves and sometimes we move forward. In this world, the way things are right now, there is so much light and so much dark. It is really everything is rising up. And there are a lot of people that want to help. And I say this as a word of caution because there are all kinds of modalities. But what you have to know about yourself is what you are made of. And your connection to source, your connection to God, you have to know how you relate to that. From there, you just build. There are a lot of people out there showing a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and you can try this. And really what it can do is it can keep you in this healing thing where you're just continually on this trail that you can't resolve. But there is a way, there is a system. I work with a system. It goes through every part of you, every one of your chakras, every one of your meridians, every part of the body. And from there, you can build out. You can systematically see what's going on, what has happened in your story from all the way back, and you begin to clear that out. And that's how, when we were speaking earlier about energy, that's how you get your energy back into the body, feeling like you can go do it. Let's go. Let's get it done. Let's go. Let's work out. It's really wonderful when that energy starts to come back to you. That's healing energy.
Yeah. 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 And it's been amazing. Some of the prayers I've had over the past few months or declarations is, I reclaim my energy back from people that I invested it in. I reclaim it. That was one of them. One of them was removing people from my psyche that, just were always on my mind. And so it's with claiming my energy back, releasing people out from my psyche, I found I had a lot more stamina to keep, I have, my entrepreneurial journey, and there's a lot that requires of that. And for weeks, there was times where I felt like I could not progress. But then after doing those, declarations, those prayers, meditating and inviting love into my heart, and I'm doing my voice lessons, I'm singing and getting connected with my body, I'm like, oh, I can do this. I can do more. I can do more. I can do more. Before, I would struggle with waking up at 8 a.m. Right. Now, this past week, I'm waking up 4:30, 6 o'clock and having energy for the whole entire day to get and do everything with high quality, where before, let's say 6 months ago, no way, I could never do that.
That's awesome. The thing too, that you have to remember about energy is, and this is kind of just piggybacking on what I was saying a moment ago, that the work of clearing it out, taking it in, clearing it out. There's so much labor there. When you get to a place like there's like when you're in a certain part of your own evolution, you begin to be in touch with the emotions you've had, the things you've been through, and you start to be able to let them peel away. They start to just drop away. There comes a time after that where you have to know how to create your own energetic boundaries. Otherwise, you'll be in that phase for a very long time, and it can go on for a decade or more, many decades. Once you take ownership of your field, where it is, what it feels like, what it looks like, once you know what that is, and you have the skill of putting energetic boundaries into place, and you have the skill of balancing your own energy centers, you basically then are just kind of free floating. You are at a place where you're self-healing. You're self-healing. And things that may you have felt in the past, sometimes you can't even remember. They're gone. It's like that's how you rewrite your own story. You don't have to carry the weight of everything that you've been through forever if you're working correctly with your own energy centers. And that's the true bonus.
Yeah. No, that's incredible because, yesterday I was on Malaysia's show, the Tiny Miracle show, and we were talking about my life. And, there were certain parts when I first started talking, I had to really try to recall certain things because it's not top of mind anymore. It's not something I reminisce on anymore. And so I had to really try to dig deep to talk about my story, and, the things that I've been through. So it's like I find myself going into that direction where all the negative stuff, all that stuff is falling away. And I feel like for myself, it is time to understand and learn how to have that energy boundary.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's created with your intention. And that's the part that a lot of people don't really want that responsibility. They would rather just go to a doctor. He tells you what to take. They take it. They'd rather go to someone. They tell them what to do. That's it. Having responsibility for your own energy, it requires you to be self-aware enough that you can see where your energy is going. You're connected to your own thought process. You're able to edit your own thoughts. And that's the beginning of managing your energy centers.
So can you give me an example of how you do that on your day-to-day?
On my day-to-day, I make sure that I am grounded. I teach when I work with one-on-one clients, or let's say I'm in a retreat setting, like the retreat I'm doing in November, and I'm still bugging you. I want you to come because it would be so fun.
Go.
to work with you, just you and I, it would be so great. I still have a couple of spaces left at that. But when you're in that setting, what the goal is to teach a handful of skills. Everyone needs to have a toolkit so that no matter how you feel, got really scared, you got really nervous, or you got really angry, or something really sad, life-changing happens, whatever it is that's going on in your life, you know how to manage it energetically. You have a tool that will allow you to stay grounded. And that's what I teach. I make sure everyone knows how to intentionally ground themselves. And I'm not talking about earthing when you go and walk on the grass. I did it this morning. I highly recommend, but I'm talking about intentional grounding, where you have the ability to have a grounding cord that you connect to. And I make sure everyone knows how to do that. And the thing is, this is where we get back to having a system. Because if you're going to learn to, it's like you don't want to have 15 ways of doing something. It all connects. So once you've got a few tools and those tools are compatible, oh my goodness, everything up levels your life, your ability to manifest. That's how you know. That's how you know you're onto something and that you've really begun to purify your own field and you've kind of dealt with your own story, is your ability to manifest is just, it's like that. It just starts firing. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's definitely a characteristic I've been seeing happening more and more in my own life. Lots of synchronicities. They take place like almost every single day in some shape or form, or, you know, maybe something that I have in mind, like tends to happen relatively quickly. And like, I noticed that started happening like a couple months ago. So then I became like precautious, like not, you know, making sure like I keep the right things in mind, you know? Um, so yeah, that's really, really exciting. And I'm definitely excited for your retreat. I feel like it's definitely like a
Okay,
good time, you
let's do
know?
it. Like, for example, I had a client that I worked with, this beautiful girl. She was probably 35, but she had a lot of things going on, a lot of things that were in her body, a lot of stuff in her field, a lot of emotional stuff. She was overweight. She was battling depression. It kind of came and went, came and went. She felt very heavy in her legs and couldn't really move much. So there were a lot of, and she had an autoimmune condition as well. After like 3 months of just working with the energies that are moving through her and her gaining those skills, well, of course, the autoimmune vanished. It's just gone to the winds. Like she hardly even remembers that she had it. And then she lost about 20 pounds and she started working out. But then it's like, what happens at that point? So at about, 4 months later, her body is just, her field has been purified. Now she's dating this tall, dark, and handsome. She's like, where did you come from? And then her dream job just right in her lap. Boom. It just dropped in her lap. How did that even happen? It's those things. Like, those are the things that make doing what I do so worthwhile. It's such a blast because I get to just sit back and like watch that happen. It's way so much fun. Way too much fun.
That's very fulfilling. No, I can imagine how fulfilling that must feel. Like, you're seeing people become their highest self. You're seeing people start to believe in themselves again. You're seeing people transcend cycles that took them a whole lifetime to try to fight, on their own. And with working with you, you're helping people to undo lifetime traumas, lifetime blockages, maybe even generational blockages, you know?
And the message, if there was any message that I could leave with your viewers today, it's that it is possible. And I would never try to make someone feel that that what they've been through is not significant. There are all types of trauma, big T and little t. There are things that are soul crushing and things that for somebody bumps into us in the elevator. Life, it has a way of allowing us a path. We create our own path and we get to choose how we feel. So if someone has had a trauma that's just really been a life-changing thing, I just want to say my message is it is possible. It is possible to rewrite the story, to feel like you're that brand new, authentic young person that you came in as. Those feelings, that authenticity, just knowing your own passions and what you love, that's still there for you. It may be underneath a lot of feeling and a lot of emotion, but I just want to say there is a way. There is a way to get to it. And a lot of times we try to come at it in different ways, but at the end of the day, you've got to get to the energy of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I completely understand. So I think like for the years that I was in a cycle, I definitely tried to combat it with logic and discipline. And I need to be more strict with myself. And you're not doing good enough. It didn't matter how much logic and self-discipline I tried to do. My life didn't change until I started really just going within and taking accountability for how I'm feeling, my energy, my thoughts.
I'm shaking my head because, and this may not be you, but for someone who does what I do, a real tough nut to crack, like a hard, something that's going to take a little bit of doing, is a highly intelligent, self-sufficient, independent, strong, someone who has a little bit of skepticism, type A, in their head. That is a tough nut to crack because your brain wants to keep you safe, and your brain will always tell you how to do that. It will tell you, no, don't feel that. Just keep that over here because that will be painful. So don't feel that. Yeah. And it will tell you, don't do that because you'll look silly. Don't do that. And your brain is always, and it's not always, most of the time, it's not accurate. So
it wasn't accurate at all for me.
Your brain is always there to keep you safe, but that doesn't mean that's your wisdom.
Yeah. So, yeah. No, you're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. Like spot on, 100%. At least for me, I experience exactly what you're talking about. So for people who are interested or curious about, taking ownership with their, energy, their energetic responsibility, how can they take a baseline snapshot of where they're at?
How they feel. What's going on right now? If you just sit where you're sitting, this is to all your listeners, if you just sit right where you are and take just a little inventory, there's no right or wrong answer. Don't overthink it. What's right here? Like, what do you feel? If you close your eyes, where's your anxiety? Scale of 1 to 10, 10 being freaked out. Put a number on that. Put a number on, just put a yes or a no. Can you sense this right here? Do you know how you feel and what's going on for you? How in your head are you on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being stuck up there? Like, get those baseline numbers. That's your self-awareness. That's where it starts. Without that, you go nowhere. You have to have a way to self-assess and say, what am I feeling right now? And then, where is that? This is what I do in my one-on-one sessions, is I help clients get to the place that it is in the body so that we can get it out before it becomes an illness, a cancer, an autoimmune. I've had clients who, I'll tell you, a common one is someone who has a lot of throat stuff, chronic sore throats, chronic strep throat, raspy voice, can't really say how they feel. That's just representing to the outside world what's going on in that energy center. It needs support. It needs a little help. And so that's what I do. I'm what you call an etheric clairvoyant. That's just a nice way of saying that I read the body. So if I'm working with someone, I can help them find where it is that they need to go, what they need to do first. Because there's an order, there's a step by step. And it gets back to what we were saying earlier about just doing all these fun things. Try a little of this, try a little of that. You don't get to complete purification by bouncing around.
Yeah. What would be some?
People waste a lot of time and they don't realize it. When really, if they worked with a practitioner, things go so much faster, so much easier.
Yeah. No, I can't. It's funny. Like when I first started on this journey, you don't realize how many levels there are to this process of energetic release. Yeah. And I think maybe month 1, I'm like, okay, yeah, I identified that. I'm good, but now I'm aware of how many levels there are, and for me, I'm at the point where it's okay, I know that I'm aware of a lot of things. I've let go of a lot of things. I'm a very, very, very great place, happiest I've ever been in my life. But I know that there's still some more. So like, again, like that's another reason why I'm like super excited to go to your retreat, because now I think I'm ready to really tackle the unconscious stuff. Cause I still do have like tightness in my muscles. So I'm like, okay, there's still, I still have some physical things going on.
Okay,
But it's
so
like,
let me jump in and give you like some really good news here, Jessica, to exactly what you're saying right now.
yeah.
The beauty, the bonus, the amazing treat that will surprise you. Remember, going back to the very beginning of our conversation, energy and emotion are intimately intertwined. You work with one, you work with the other. So sometimes there is shadow work that needs to be done, going down those emotional rabbit holes, digging up the stuff, going through that. But it doesn't all have to be that way. When you work with the body, just click, when you know the skills and the tools and how to do it, and you begin to clear the body, clear your chakras, clear your field, this is the happy news. That emotion just takes care of itself sometimes. A fair amount of that just drifts away because there's more than one way to heal. It doesn't all have to be beating yourself up with shadow work. I mean, I recommend it. I had to go through my shadows. I still am going through my shadows. It's a continual process for everyone, no matter where you are on your path, on your journey, no matter if you're a healer or someone who's learning or whatever it is. It's an ongoing process. But when you work with what you are made of, when you know how to do that, it handles the other stuff. It's awesome.
And so for the people who are skeptical, right? The skeptical people, like what would be, I guess, your advice, or I guess, like, how do you typically interact with people who are skeptical about all of this?
I allow everyone the space to feel how they feel. We've all gone through what we've gone through. And if someone is in a place in their brain that they just don't feel like they can accept new information, they want to kind of stay with what they feel like they know. I allow that. I respect everyone to be right where they are, and I'll meet you wherever you are. And if you want to have a couple of simple things to do to just help maybe work with the meridians that are moving energy through the body, sometimes that makes sense to a person who can't buy the fact that they have a biofield. And I'll work with them wherever they want to begin. But the bottom line is, the results are in when you have the tools to align your energies. You have healing energy that moves through you. And just like speaking for myself, I'm 66 years old, and I don't get tired. I can have a really long day. I can do a 14-hour day, and at the end of it, I'm good. I know how to create that flow of energy. I know how to bring it to where it's needed. So I don't ever get to that place. And so what happens then when you've got that kind of a flow, your hormone function is always nourished. So your hormones then stay in just a little bit better balance, and as do the rest of your systems. And that's like one of the beauties of the whole thing.
And you look amazing, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Always look amazing. Always look amazing. And it's fantastic that you have the energy too, like I know for my mom, for example, like she struggles with energy, and we talk like, okay, maybe try this, maybe try that, maybe try this, and she's on her journey too. And like, that's one of the things, like I would love for my mom to have all the energy in the world to keep doing the stuff that she's doing, and my mom, she's 63. 63.
I would say like you asked me what I would say to someone a minute ago, I would say, find your dominant feeling. What do you think and feel the most? What is that? because that's what's driving the field. So,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a question everyone can ask themselves. What do you think about most of the time? And
Yeah.
where is it in your body? And if you give someone with the right help about 5 minutes, they can give you a pretty good answer for that. And so that's going to, like, okay, so now let's look at that. So where do we go? How are we going to find that emotion? Where is it living? But things
Yeah.
that are stored in the body absolutely create strain and pain. And like
Yeah.
you mentioned, generational trauma, it can be that too. Sometimes you got generations of stuff that need to be released. But now is the time to do it. The world is in a place now, just the collective with so much light and so much dark. Now is the time. If
Yeah.
you feel that that may even be a thing, now is the time to get to it and allow yourself to have a new way of feeling.
Mm-hmm. What would you say about generalized stress? Where does stress live?
It lives in between your ears. That will send it out to all parts of the body. First place, the gut, the belly. If there's an imbalance up here, it's going to go to your second brain. You have two brains, one here, one here. So I would say absolutely stress is managed in the brain, the sixth chakra. It's how you
Mm-hmm.
perceive it. There can be two people driving to work. Both of them are 10 minutes late. One of them is freaked out. My boss is going to kill me. Oh my gosh, I'm going to have so much work to do. I hate this. And then it rolls into, I hate this shirt. I put on the wrong shoes, blah, 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 all of that. They walk in the door and they're just a stress ball, hair messed up. The other one, same situation, 10 minutes late, same boss, same surroundings. They're listening to the radio, trying to enjoy music. They realize it's going to take a certain number of minutes. They just breathe deeply. They stay checked into their body. And they realize that this is a day, tomorrow's another day. And they get there, they show up, they're effective, they get more done because they're not freaked out. Our stress response is driven by the brain, how you think and feel, and habits. Energy has habits, just like your body does, patterns and habits.
Yeah, no, that's really great about the energy habits or the energy patterns, energy habits. Like I think one of the habits I recently became aware of, and I think this was like the first week successfully managing it, was like if my week was super busy, like I would be freaking out about my busy week ahead and just nervous, like, oh, I hope I can manage everything to the quality that I want to manage it. And so, like, I noticed I was feeling that way. And I'm like, all right, God, help me to feel calm because I've been successful. Why am I freaking out about this? Like, I've had crazy weeks before and I executed on them successfully. And so then I made the decision to approach my week calmly, regardless of how much things I had in my calendar. And because I made that decision and I was really aware at each moment, then I had a lot of energy for everything and I felt good. I felt calm. I felt paced. And that stress about freaking out over a busy week went away.
You know, God's love is omnipresent. If you are connected to Him, you're able to connect to God energy and allow that to you. When you connect to that, you see how blessed you are to be in a day that's full. It changes how you see that day. Instead of pressure, it's just gratitude. And it comes from God's light, being able to connect it. But if you view that relationship as He's there to do all of that without you connecting to that, you just kind of cut your responsibility out of the picture. It's you connecting to that. Yes, He's there for that, but you have to be open to feel that. That means you have to be living in a way that that frequency can flow through you. Not everybody is. Not
Yeah.
everybody is.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I've incorporated it into my mornings and in my evenings, where I don't check anything for the first 30 minutes I'm awake. I don't check anything. I don't check my email. I don't check my phone. I don't check anything. I put on some meditative music and I journal and I read my Bible and maybe some other spiritual literature for the first 30 minutes of my day.
So
I give
nice.
thanks.
I love it. Yeah. Yeah. So true. I mean, the brain will pattern itself. And right now we're in a situation where scrolling and it can be an addiction. And so if you wake up in the morning and go right to it, you've set the pattern within your brain already that day. So even by starting your day, just whether it's powered down, quiet, however you view that, whatever that is for someone, I keep sound bowls in my kitchen and I just tap them in the morning and my plants love it. They grow like crazy. And I just kind of I just like to have that little bit of quiet. Your brain then can get on the path of what's going on for that day. It makes a huge difference. But there's a lot of distraction in the world now, a lot. Yeah. Scrolling is one of the biggest.
It's a funny thing because I used to be a big scroller. I used to scroll. It's funny because like with the journey of, or the decision to become an entrepreneur and doing what it requires, now it requires a social media presence. And a social media presence means that you're creating content. And with creating content, you kind of see what goes on in the world of social media and it kind of breaks the addiction.
I understand that completely. Yeah. And you have to, take responsibility for, again, the R word, for what you're scrolling. What are you scrolling? Not everything is bad. So it's just that management, the awareness of how you feel about it.
Yeah. Oh man, this is so amazing. It's such like a wonderful conversation because it's so timely as well. Like it's really everything like I've just been thinking about and becoming more aware about and understanding how everything ties together. And like I know that I'm just literally scratching the surface. I'm literally just scratching the surface.
Yeah. Anybody who tells you they're not, that's the last person I want to talk to about it. Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It's like
anyone who tells you they've got it figured out, or is enlightened, or even uses the word a healer. I think you got to be real careful with what you say. And I believe we are all our own self-healers. We heal ourselves. And that's what I do in one-on-one sessions is I help people have a system to work through to heal themselves. That's the plan. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things I learned even about, the term enlightenment, like someone who's enlightened is not going to say I'm enlightened. Like,
Facts.
They're not going to say it. Yeah. Yeah. They're not going to say it. So anybody who tells you that they are, for those who are interested in spiritual stuff, if someone says they're enlightened, they're not. Like, so be careful, protect yourself. So like, what would you, the question I have is I think we chatted about it before we started recording, but it's for those who know that they want to make a change in their life, but feel stuck. How does energy responsibility come into play with that?
When someone feels stuck, that is a really good tip and a really good way to describe that energy is not moving through the body. When energy moves through, the systems work. If someone feels stuck, there is a feeling that is being stored somewhere in the body related to how they would describe that stuck feeling, exactly how it makes them feel. I would say really get in touch with how you feel when you use this word stuck. Like, write about it, get a paragraph. You might say, well, that's silly, it's just stuck. No, let's get some deets on the page and see how that is. But that is a really good inclination that there may be something in there that needs to be released. And that's a big ask when you don't know how. So the first thing is just to have the understanding. I would say this to everyone, just to have the understanding that you can feel something you've never felt before. If you've never felt grounded and calm and alive and sexy and cool, if you've never like felt that, you can feel that, but you have to allow it.
Yeah.
And there is a way. Yeah. There's a way to get to that allowing. There's a healthy way, a grounded way that allows for the healthy version of that, the balanced version of that.
Yeah.
Did I answer that question? Did I take a ride? So I can go off on tangents one after the other. I hope I answered.
Yeah, no, I completely understood it. You know, I think like if I try to go back to the feeling that I felt when I felt stuck, I felt that it was like a image of feeling stuck in my head. Like I would have dreams of running in slow motion where I felt like my whole body just felt stuck. And regardless of what I did, like I couldn't progress in my career the way I wanted to. I couldn't lose weight the way I wanted to. The interactions with the people in my life weren't how I wanted them to be. So I felt like every single avenue in my life, I felt like there was no progression.
Yeah.
That's how I felt at the time.
The body does exactly what the brain tells it to. And the brain is responding to your feelings. And your feelings are connected to the energy. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we got to get to that. What you really are, your field, what you're made of, what's in your body, the part of you that you can't see. I remember years and years ago, decades ago, I was at an acupuncturist's office and he started talking about the triple warmer. And I had never heard about the triple warmer. And he explained to me that it is, in Eastern medicine, it is a part of you, but you can't see it. It's not an organ. It's not a thing, but it's, you know, that you can like hold in your hand, but it is a system of energy that works in the body. And I just remember thinking, it seemed to open up a whole channel in my brain because there is so much of us that runs on that system. And I've always been able to read energy. Back, you know, I started out as a makeup artist in Hollywood. I think the first big show I worked on was the Donnie Marie show. Super stressful. In the 80s, okay, this is a long time ago. In the 80s, that was probably the most stressful job you could have because on a big production set, it was extremely expensive. Dollars just ticking away by the seconds, people just losing their minds with super high anxiety. And so I was there up close to the actor, bare naked faced, listening to them talk. I could see what they ate for breakfast because I could see it. I could see what they drank in the morning. I could see how they treated the crew. I could see basically how they felt about themselves. It was going to come up in the next 45 minutes of having them in the makeup chair. And for me to, at that time, be reading the energy of that, it was the educational ground that was perfect for what I needed. I was able to see how people managed anxiety with their own energy from little to huge. And it was such a lesson. I will forever be grateful for that job. And it was a really fun job. I flew in a lot of private jets. I touched some really amazing faces. I went to different places in the world, and I am just grateful. It was a really fun job until I didn't want to do it anymore. I had to be more of who I was, and that's when I developed a wellness camp for women in Los Angeles, and I ran that wellness camp for a while. And then now I completely work with clients, but that I also have I developed a course called Mastering the Major Chakras. So somebody who doesn't know what to do and doesn't have the money to work with a practitioner, be really careful when you choose a practitioner. Feel like you get them and they get you. Feel an energetic type of resonance. That's super important. But if someone can't do that, I can still walk them through it step by step. And I'm super proud of this. I haven't even told you about it yet because it's brand new. So yeah, that's going to be, it'll be up on my website in just a couple of days. But for someone who wants to heal themselves and they realize something is there, and I love it so much when someone comes to me and says, I don't know what it is. Something is off. Oh my gosh, that is wisdom. That is powerful. That is energetic badassery to be able to say, don't know, but I can sense it. That's amazing. And that's where you start. That's healing. And that gives you a place to start.
That's how I started, Loa. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. That's exactly how I started.
I'm so proud of you. You're amazing.
So amazing. And I'm so happy you have the course. I'm so excited. So we're recording on Friday, September 20th. So for those interested in Loa's course, it'll be available in a couple of days. So I think this episode should be released in 2 weeks from now. So it should already be live by the time the episode is released.
And I'm easy to find. I'm on social media. Hey Loa. I'm Hey Loa on TikTok. Hey Loa on Instagram. HeyLoa.com. You can find out about everything that I do if you want to work with me in one way or another. Find out about the retreat. Find out about one-on-one sessions. HeyLoa.com. I'm super easy to find. And happy to be found.
So wonderful. And I love your content. It always, I always learn something new. So definitely follow Hey Loa. It's highly recommended.
Thank you. Thank you. I've decided, this whole social media thing, I'm not playing the games. I'm not doing do this for the algorithm to get more, whatever. I am just here. If you hear what I say and it sounds like truth to you, then jump on. I'll teach you how to do some things. I'll show you right here, no charge. That's my calling, and that's why I'm there. And I feel a little bit free now because I've decided, I'm out of all of that algorithm bullcrap. I'm like, what? I'm just here. I'm just myself. And if that's not for you, then,
Yeah. Same here. Bringing more of myself authentically everywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy. Yeah. We're teaming up and doing it together. We're just being our authentic selves.
Happy to be on your team, my friend.
Wonderful. Oh, thank you so much for coming on the show, Loa.
It's always good to hang out with you, Jessica. You are you're just a very bright soul. There's so much in you, and I love that you're willing to share that. And there are people that hear your message, and it's a beautiful thing. People can understand what you're saying and what you're doing. That is a spiritual gift, to be able to share. And then someone can hear you and go, hang on, I think I get it now. It's a beautiful thing. And we need more people working with light right now. So
Thank
it's
you,
awesome.
Loa.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. Because I've been feeling the urge to incorporate that in everything I'm doing. And so thank you for saying that. It just gives me some confirmation. I'm going to double down on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Just follow the light, share the light, take the pressure out of it. That's my mom. It's got to be fun on some level. On some level, this has to be entertaining for me. That's the way I view it. On some level, this has to be fun for me. So I think, because if it is, then you're sharing the right thing. If there's joy wrapped around it, then you're sharing the right thing.
The more I do it, the more joy comes. So And the more amazing people come into my life too.
Yeah.
You know, it's, yeah. Thank you.
Bonus.
Thank you.
Perks happening all around. I love it. All right, dear. Thank you for having me. You're the best.
Thank you. Thank you.
Happy to chat anytime.